Mesachas Bava Kamma Daf Tzadi Zayin begins in the middle of the Gemara's discussion about whether avadim are considered to be like karka as far as having to pay for them, and then the Gemara will continue that discussion with the concept of what happens if you take someone's eved without rishus. You have to pay for the work that he did for you. So the Gemara has just said that Rav holds that avadim are like land, and just like land can't be stolen because they stay where they are, and eved is also never considered to be stolen. It's always considered to be the possession of its owner wherever it is. So the Gemara asked that Rav Daniel bar Rav Katina said that if somebody grabs an eved away from someone else and he works it, he does not have to pay for the work. He has to return the eved because it's a stolen eved. However, the work that he did is considered to be work that was in the possession of the thief, and therefore he doesn't need to pay for that. That's an improvement, that is usage, fruits that he got from the stolen object. He doesn't have to pay for that. He only has to return the stolen object. Now, if you hold that the eved belongs to the owner the entire time because it can't be stolen because it's land, then he should say that he took away the work which belonged to the master. He should have to pay for that. So the Gemara answers, you're right, Rav would say that, but here we're talking about a situation where there was no loss to the master because it was a time when the master wouldn't and couldn't use him anyway. Either he didn't have any work for him to do or it was after working hours, and therefore there's no loss. And it's like a situation where you get some benefit from someone else's object or possession, it causes him no loss, which we learned back in Daf Chaf, is what we would call zenen of zelei chaser. This one gains and this one doesn't lose, about which we said if somebody wants to charge for that, is kefet al midas sedaim. So Gemara quotes that. The Gemara says it was sent from Rab Abba to Mari Bar Mar to ask a question of Rav Huna. Somebody lives in someone else's yard or someone else's chutzner without his knowledge. Does he have to pay rent or not? And the answer, he does not have to pay rent, because this one is gaining from having a place to live, and the one who owns it is not losing because he's not living there anyway. So therefore here also the owner of the eved wouldn't be using him at this time, so he's not losing, and the one who uses him is gaining. He doesn't need to pay for it. So you can't compare the two, because in the situation of the house or the chutzner that's being used, there's actually a benefit to the owner of the chutzner that his property is being used. And the Gemara back in the Daf Chaf had brought two opinions: either that the person who lives in the house will keep it in good repair, otherwise it falls into disrepair, or that there's actually a shade called she'iyah who comes to inhabit an abandoned home, and like this, that someone lives there, that shade will stay out and is not going to break things, is not going to destroy things. Here, however, when you're using someone else's eved, it just weakens the eved. There's no benefit to the master. So answers no, there's a benefit as well, because a bored eved becomes a lazy eved, and then he learns how to be lazy and to enjoy idleness, and you don't want that to happen, and therefore there is a benefit to the owner itself. Now the Gemara brings an incident that happened with Rav Bava Kamma, and that his household, they were accustomed to take away avadim from people who owed money to them, and they would work those eveds, and then they would give the eved back, and they would not pay for the work that they had. So Rava, his son, this is the famous Rava in all of Shas, the son of Rav Bava Kamma, he said to his father, why do you do that? You're using other people's things without permission. Why is that okay? So he answered him, and there's some discussion about what the answer was. So the Gemara first says, he answered him saying that I'm holding like Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman said that a eved is not worth the bread that he fills his stomach with, meaning that the eved doesn't even work off his own expenses. By me taking the eved and feeding him, it's actually saving costs. It's a net gain for the owner. So Gemara answers, the Gemara says, Rava answered that was only Rav Nachman's eved. He had an eved named De'aru who used to jump and play games and dance in the bars. So he was a useless eved. He wasn't worth the food that he ate. However, most avadim aren't like that, and therefore your eved's not like that. And these avadim that you're stealing aren't like that. So he said, okay, I hold like Rav Daniel. Because Rav Daniel, which we just quoted before, Rav Daniel bar Rav Katina said the name of Rav. Somebody grabs away someone else's eved, and he works it, he's potter. He doesn't need to pay. So you see, must be the reasoning, as we said before, is that the master prefers that his eved work and not learn laziness. So it's a benefit for the master. So on that, Rava responded, and he said, that's only if the person that you're taking the eved from doesn't owe you any money. But here, since he owes you money, it appears like ribbis, because he's going to pay back the money that he owes you, and you get this benefit from him. As Rav Yosef bar Menumi said in the name of Rav Nachman, even in the case of someone uses someone else's courtyard without permission, which we said is chaser, that's only if the owner of the courtyard doesn't owe money to the person who's using it. However, if he's a lender to him, then he can't because it looks like ribbis. So on that, Rav Yosef Bava Kamma said, Hadribi, I actually changed, thank you, and I'm going to stop this practice. On a similar note, the Gemara speaks about someone who uses someone else's ship without permission, and he uses it. So what does he need to pay him? So Rav says he has a choice. The owner of the ship, that is, can demand a choice, either the standard rental fee for a ship, or he could charge the repair for whatever wear and tear was put into the ship. So obviously he'll choose whichever is higher. Shmuel said he can't take rent. He can only take repair. So Rav Papa said there's no machlokes. One is talking about a situation where it was standard to rent it out. It was a rental ship, and therefore it was something that he did normally. And the other one is talking about where he didn't standard rent it, and therefore he can't charge him the rent. Second opinion is that they're both talking about a ship which is rented. One is where he intended to take it to rent, and the other is where he intended to take it to steal. Then it would be like the halachas which we've said thus far, that a thief only has to take a shasik zayla. He only has to return the object that he stole. He has to make good on any damages or depreciation that happened. However, he doesn't have to pay for whatever benefit he got from it during the time that he had it. Okay, the Gemara now refers back to the Mishnah where we had discussed when a thief steals something and it depreciates in value, does he have to take the loss or does the owner take the loss and the thief only needs to pay at its current lower value? The Mishnah distinguished between where the depreciation is something visible or sensible, discernible in any way, and where it's something that is not visible. If it's sensible, discernible, then the thief needs to take the loss and he has to pay the value at the time of the theft. If it's something that is not discernible, then the owner takes the loss and the thief just returns it as it is and says, here's your thing back, this is what I took, and this is what I'm giving back to you, whatever it's worth now. And the Mishnah had given a number of examples, and the Gemara wants to analyze them. So one of the things there was if it was a coin and the coin cracked, so he said that's a visible loss, and therefore the thief has to take the loss. It says Rav Huna, cracked means that it actually cracked. It's a visible crack. The parallel example where it's not called a visible loss is if it became a puzzle coin. That is a disqualified coin. So number one, what does it mean, a disqualified coin? So here's the machlekes about this. Rav Yehuda says it was taken out of circulation by the government that issued it. It issued a new coin or something, and it took this one out of circulation. Therefore, it's useless. Whether here or anywhere else, there is no kingdom standing behind it, and it's a useless coin. That is Rav Huna said that pshat, and when that Rav Yehuda asks that since it's completely useless everywhere, that's the same as cracked. So Rav Yehuda wants to define the situation in which it's useless as if it has no value anywhere. And therefore he says, if it's cracked, it is no value anywhere. If it's totally taken out of circulation, it's no value anywhere either. So Rav Yehuda therefore wants to learn that the pshat in a puzzle coin is that it was puzzled by the people in this country. They don't accept it any longer. However, you could go somewhere else and you could accept it there. So he therefore would define that as if it's valuable somewhere, someplace, then it could still be, you wouldn't need to take the loss. You could tell the owner, go take your coin somewhere else where it's useful and deal with it over there. So now the Gemara has kashas on both opinions, both Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda. So first Rav Chizda asks on Rav Huna, according to you that you said that nifsel means that it's totally taken out of service. Then what about the example of fruits that rotted, wine which became vinegar? There it's totally taken out of service. It's depreciated according to everybody. How come in those situations the thief has to take the loss, and you're telling me in the case of the psul it does not have to take the loss? So the answer, the difference is very simple. Over there it's discernible, and here it's not discernible. If the fruits rotted or the wine turned to vinegar, it actually changed. There's a physical change. The coin, which is taken out of circulation, there's no physical change. The coin looks the same before as it did after. So now Rav asked the kasha to Rav Yehuda, according to you that you said that the psul of the explanation of psul is that it's still accepted somewhere, but if it's totally taken out of service, it's no good. So then how come when it says that truma, which became tamei, that is considered to be fine, but there it's totally useless. It's out of service completely. There is no place where the truma has value. So the Gemara answer is no, because there the truma is nothing visible about it. But here there is something visible about it. So you see, both opinions are still using the distinction of whether it's visible that there is a change here, there's a change in the actual object itself or not. The Gemara now introduces a related subject, the topic of coins which go out of circulation. So Gemara says, what happens in a case where somebody lends merchandise to his friend on the condition that he's going to pay him for it at a later date, and they fix the amount as, let's say, 10 slime. And then those slime go out of circulation. Now what does he need to pay him with? The old slime which aren't in circulation, or the new slime, which is not what he originally promised to pay him, but that's what is in circulation now. So the Machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Rav says he needs to give him the new slime because he has to give him coins in circulation. He promised to pay him useful coins. He has to pay him useful coins, even if it's not what he said. Shmuel says he can repay him with the old ones because there are still places where the old ones are used, like in Meishon, which is far away. So he can make him go travel to Meishon and use it there, but he can use the old coin. Now, Rav Nachman says Shmuel wasn't referring to a across-the-board case where he could force the guy to travel to Meishon to use his coins. It's only in a situation where the person was going to Meishon anyway. And therefore, it's not a big deal for him to take the consummation and use it there. That's where he said it. But if he's not going to Meishon, he can't make him accept it. Whereas the Kashan of Nachman, the Brisa says that you can only be Machal Meiser Sheni, that is, you have to exchange the value, the Kedusha of Meiser Sheni from fruits to money. You can only use coins that are in circulation. Coins which can be used that can be spent, is the way the Gemara phrases it. And the Mishnah, the Brisa gives examples. The Brisa says we have coins which were minted by Bar Kuziva, whose coins went out of circulation when his rebellion ended, or coins of previous kings which don't work anymore. So you cannot be Mechal Meiser Sheni on that. Says the Gemara, the diak is that these are coins which don't work at all. But if you had coins which work in some places, the Gemara calls them coins which are similar to old kings, but not exactly old kings coins. They work some places, then you are allowed to use them. So you see, if it works somewhere, you're allowed to use it, and even if you're not intending to travel there. Kashan Rav Nachman said it's only if you're intending to go there. The Gemara answers there's a difference between how we handle coins which are in circulation in some places and not in others. Sometimes, if the local government does not allow them to be used, the government will actively persecute it and not allow people to hold it, and search people and not allow them to hold these coins. In a situation like that, Shmuel, that is where Shmuel said that it's only okay, says Rav Nachman, if you're going to Mishon. However, in a situation where the local machas doesn't care and they let you hold it, and then whenever you're going to Mishon, you'll use it then, that is a situation where Rav Nachman would have said, even if you're not going to Mishon, that would be okay. So when I asked if Shmuel was saying where the machas is makbid and you're not allowed to hold them, so what does it help if you're going to Mishon? Even if you're going to Mishon, it'll be confiscated before you get there. So my answer is no. We're talking about a moderate situation where the government doesn't want you to have it, but they're not searching for it. If they catch you, they'll take it away from you. But if you're on the way to Mishon, you should be able to hold on to it before you get there. You won't be caught in that short amount of time. Therefore, you could go spend it over there. We might ask another kasha on the Shmuel from another Brisa. Brisa says if someone has coins from Eretz Yisrael in Lavel, or coins from the Babylonian government that are in Eretz Yisrael, meaning it's the wrong coin in the wrong place, either of those situations, you cannot use it to take the Kedusha of Meiser Sheni. It can't be Mechal Meiser Sheni on coins which aren't valuable in the place in which they are. However, if they are Babylonian coins in Bavel, then you can, because it's valid currency in the place that it is. So the Gemara says, so now, if someone is in Bavel and he's planning on going to Eretz Yisrael, and he has Eretz Yisrael coins with him here, we're saying that he can't use it, even though he's going to go to Eretz Yisrael and be able to use it there. That's just like the case of having coins which you're going to take to Mishon, and they're valuable in Mishon. So what's the problem? Why are these no good? So our answer is we're talking about a place where the kingdom here is very makbid, and it's going to search for Eretz Yisrael coins. It's going to take them away from you before you ever get a chance to take them to Eretz Yisrael. So our says if that's true, so then what does it help if you have the Bavel coins here? If you want to be Mechal Meiser Sheni on the Bavel coins, you're going to take them to Eretz Yisrael, but we're makbid on it, so they're going to take it away from you in Eretz Yisrael, not going to be able to spend them there. So what's the point in that? So my answer is no. You don't take it to Eretz Yisrael and spend it there. It's useless in Eretz Yisrael. You take it here and you buy an animal with it here. And that animal you then take to Eretz Yisrael and you bring as a carbon there. Now, the Gemara points out you have a kasha on this whole idea that you can't be Mechal Meiser Sheni on Babylonian coins that are in Eretz Yisrael. You can't take the Bavel coins to Eretz Yisrael. They're not useful here. The Gemara asks, is a brisa that says that because everyone sent their Machtas HaShekel from wherever they were in Chutz La'aretz to Yerushalayim, they were metaking that you can use coins of all over the world in Yerushalayim because that's what they were receiving. So why are we saying that you can't use the Bavel coins in Eretz Yisrael? So Gemara answers, the brisa that says you can use them all is when Klal Yisrael had shlita over the umos, and therefore they enacted which coins can be used where. This brisa says you can't use the Bavel coins in Eretz Yisrael. It's talking about a time when Klal Yisrael did not have control, and therefore the nations of the world do not want to use those coins in Eretz Yisrael, and therefore you can't. Gemara now includes a bit of Agadata here. The Gemara says, what does the coin of Yerushalayim look like? So Gemara says it had David and Shlomo on one side, and Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh on the other side. Rashi says not images. It's forbidden to make images of people that are raised. It's talking about just the words, David and Shlomo and Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. Gemara says, what was the coin of Avraham Avinu? Had an old man and woman on one side, and a young man and woman on the other side, referring to Avram and Sarah on one side, and Yitzchak and Rivka on the other side. Now, the Gemara asks another question similar to what we discussed before. The Gemara says, Rava asked Rav Chizda, what happens if somebody sets a payment that he's going to make later in a certain coin? Again, he gives him produce in advance, and he's going to take payment later in a fixed amount, let's say 10 slime, and then the slime are replaced with larger slime. So now the seller has more silver in it. So does he pay with the new bigger coin, and does he pay with the old smaller coin? So Rav Chizda said he gives him the new bigger coin. So Rav Chizda said even if it's as big as a sieve, he said yeah. He said even if it's as big as a tortilla, which is a quarter of a kav, it's a measure of eggs. He said yes, even if it's that big. So the Gemara asked, but the new coin is going to buy more fruits. It has more value, and the fruit is going to be cheaper in this coin. Let's say for the same amount you would have gotten for 10 slime before, you're only going to have to pay 8 slime now with the new larger coin. So it says if it's cheaper because of the coin, then we'll reduce the amount of coin he has to give. He only has to give an equal value to the original price, which will be fewer coins of the new bigger coins. If ever it went down because the market went down, because of supply and demand or whatever it is, then you don't reduce the amount he has to pay. Someone asked, but it's more valuable anyway. Now the problem when it's more valuable in all these arguments is because it's ribis. You're paying back more than you took on loan. So the Gemara says it's more valuable anyway because you can make more silver bars out of it. There's literally more silver there. So Gemara says you're right, and they have to adjust the number of coins by the ratio of silver anyway. And the Gemara quotes an incident that happened with a person called Argdamis the Arab, that he had new coins and old coins, and they went to him to measure the difference in size. And they found that the new coins were 25% more valuable than the old coins, and therefore the amount of coins that you needed to pay went down from 10 to 8. The Gemara says it had to be that the increase in value was at least 25%. If it would be less than 25%, so the Rosh explains you would lose the value of the increase if you were trying to make it into silver rods, because the cost of melting, you would lose that 25%. And therefore, it's got to be at least more than 20%, either equal to or more than 25% of the value per coin in the new coins over the old coins.